Okay, this is my commentary on the little interactive web comic that comes as DLC with the game. And it's something that I like the idea of. In theory, it was originally made for the PS3 version of Mass Effect 2, where Mass Effect 1 wasn't there, so that you weren't stuck with just the quote-unquote canon history. But so I'll mostly kind of be weird.
Patrol on Eden Prime had been attacked. They'd seen something they couldn't explain.
Be kind of riffing on it, but also
it was massive. I hit the ground with
my one complaint is on the PC version. Again, it gives you a way to jump in if some people, because I know some people find all the older RPG elements of Mass Effect 1 with all its
ready to take on whatever came her way.
with all its inventory management and upgrades kind of intimidating. So this is a good way to jump in. My only problem is that even if you're importing a Mass Effect 1 save, you're still required to watch this every time you start a new game. So as you probably could see, I didn't include in my Let's Play in part 1 of my Let's Play of Mass Effect 2. Instead, I split it off into its own video that you could watch on its own to see what decisions I made there.
That's when it hit me hard.
It really slapped me. I probably shouldn't have gotten so fresh with it.
Black. And then I saw something. A vision.
I've heard complaints about the artwork. I kind of like it. It's not like it's raw, but I felt bad. But then again, that's coming from somebody who literally can't draw a straight line. And I don't know if that's from a lack of talent or from my movement disorder. And I'll have a separate video just showing you me trying the Mass Effect 2 hacking games, which everybody else I know finds them too easy. Me, I find them hard, and I have to cut because yeah, I'll explain that later, but.
And there was some evidence to suggest that the ship was connected to Saren.
Yeah.
But even Adina's pointed accusations were enough to convince the council. They just couldn't.
It doesn't look like a pointed accusation. It looks like a guy who's about to detonate a bomb that he has strapped to himself.
Fortunately, I wasn't alone in my search. Garrus, another Turian, wanted to help.
Why he's holding a sniper rifle up in the middle of a capital is anybody's guess. It's like he's a nut in a bell tower to me.
More importantly, he was willing to share them. That led me to Rex.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't have been much use if he wasn't willing to share his leads, would it?
It was his intel that led to a fugitive with incriminating evidence on Saren. The fugitive turned out to be an energetic little Quarian named Tal.
Woo!
A tech expert with a knack for hacking. She'd procured some information on Saren.
Why'd you say procured like that? She hacked into a Geth that attacked her. You make it sound a lot more... The delivery of that line, procured, makes it sound a lot more dirty than it actually was.
A way to bring back a race of sentient machines from dark space. Machines allegedly responsible.
What I want to know is the council's logic this whole time is that Saren found out that I was saying he wanted to bring back the Reapers, so then he's using it to distract me and get me onto the wrong track. Okay, that makes sense up until you figure out that I had never even that Shepard had never even heard the term Reaper until he heard that recording of Saren talking to his second in command. Who in the world is that demonic-looking Solarian standing there? Everyone else on this platform could be members of your team, but or the according to the art. But you know, that's like
Liara, a Prothean expert, adept in biotics, and maybe most importantly, daughter of Benezia.
Here's where you'll see where I used. There are two reasons that I used the Mass Effect 2 save editor pretty much every time I play Mass Effect 2. And
Nothing
the
got
first
away
few
with it,
times I
but it
played
gave us
Mass
some
Effect
clues.
2, I didn't, because I
And a new
do consider it
appreciation
kind
for
of a
the
form of cheating, sort of like,
Her technique
you
for
know,
accessing my vision was unexpected.
the Game
But not
Genie
at all
on the
unpleasant.
NES, although I only ever beat
Ashley
any
was a little
game.
concerned about the connection I shared
This
with
shows
As
one of
commander,
the
I knew
reasons,
either relationship
because
had potential to interfere
the
with
game
the
sort of
mission.
forced me into a romance with Ashley that I
decided
didn't want on this
discretion was the better part of valor.
playthrough.
Kept my focus
So
on the goal.
I used the Mass Effect 2 save editor to
Thanks to Liara's
uncheck
help,
that
we had
on
our
the
next
save
lead.
game. On the save
Nancy.
game when I import
Sarah had
it.
taken her to Novaria,
I have
where he
another
displayed
video
the
that gives a
dangerous race of
tutorial,
insect
although I
creatures.
didn't show how to do
Liara and
this
Nancy had used
on
the same
there.
technique Liara had used on me to extract information from the Rachni Queen. The Queen's
But
drones were
basically what you do
They
is
weren't happy.
you
We had to
unclick
fight
the
through hundreds
romance
of
or
them
any
to
other
get
options from Mass Effect
By the
1
time
that
we
you don't
arrived,
want
Saren was
imported.
gone.
And then you go into
With
the
the
plot for
information,
Mass Effect
I
2
tried to
and
reason
click
with
that
Nancy,
it's completed,
but Sarah
and then
had
you
indoctrinated
import your Mass Effect 1
He had somehow
character
acquired
again,
the
this
ability
time
to
as a Mass
control
Effect
these
2
factions and
character who
wills.
completed the game,
Venezia
and
wouldn't
then you'll
surrender.
get
was forced to watch her mother die in her
your
arms.
character
And I was left with an angry, dangerous
with the same
Rachni
choices
Queen
you
to
made
deal
in
with.
Mass Effect 1, just
She
without
figured
that
drones would do no harm if I released
romance.
her.
And
the
it doesn't have
Rachni
any
had
negative
terrorized
effect, the
Callus
fact that it thinks
before.
that you completed Mass Effect 2, so
I
that's
couldn't
fine.
do it. I wouldn't doom an entire species for past sins.
Plus,
The
she
Queen was true to her
seemed
word.
kind of nice.
She left and took her army of drones
Again,
with her.
this is where my problem starts.
When Saren
She
shot
didn't take her
Lieutenant
drones with her
Wayne, we
because
took
she
the
had no
right amount of time
control
and
over
places to
them,
hide.
so I have to wonder if whoever
I tracked
wrote
him
this
down at his
even
base on
played the
Vermont.
first
But we
game,
soon
or if
learned
they
it was
were
more
looking
than a
at
base of
a Cliff
operations.
Notes version that somebody
It was a
got
breeding
wrong.
ground.
But
Saren was
they
breeding
mentioned
an
this
army
again
of
in Mass
Krogan.
Effect 3. There
He
was
found a
no
cure for the
deal. You never
Genophage,
said that she had
disease
to
inflicted
leave.
on the Krogan to prevent them from breeding and taking
You
over
just
the galaxy.
she just left
The
because
Krogan
she
Saren
knew
was
wanted to
slaves.
because she knew
Mindless beasts
there'd
that
be
obeyed
more people
Saren's
trying
will.
to exploit
Had to
her, and
destroy
she
the
wanted a
base.
place to raise her
Knowledge
family.
research.
I guess her
Rex
family.
disagreed.
I don't know what else to
Why?
call it. Because it's an
Rex
insect.
wanted the Genophage cure for his people. I tried
It's
to
an
convince him to help me
insect,
destroy it.
sort of
These Krogan weren't
relationship thing.
but he wouldn't back down. Fortunately, Rex is smarter than he looks. He realized
Well,
this
that
wasn't
wouldn't
the
be
way to help his
difficult.
people, and that Saren was the real
Although, I have to say, I think Mark
When we
Mears'
finally got to the center of the
delivery,
base,
delivery,
just how close Saren was to
I think
completing
this
the
shows
mission.
that
He
he's
was
gotten a
already in
lot better
communication
since
with the
Mass
Reavers.
Effect 1. I know a lot of people
Soft,
slam
Saren's
his
flagship,
acting,
they'd all
and
assumed was just a
I'm
ship.
mostly okay with it,
Was a Reaper.
but
It
he's
spoke to me.
much better in this than he was in Mass Effect 1.
I could feel the menace it had for every living
To me,
thing.
he does.
He wanted
To
me
me,
dead.
he always.
wanted us all dead. And I
He
knew it
and
was
he's
capable
after.
of doing just that.
No. He's after somebody called
But I couldn't understand why
Skywalker.
Saren would help it. But there was no time to think about it. Sovereign knew where we were. We had to destroy the base and
Well,
get
of course,
the
you
hell
were
out.
talking to
I
him.
split up my team in 2 squads, sending Ash with one and Caden with the other as a distraction. We had a nuke, and we planned to use it. Before
Again,
we could
there are
detonate the
odd
bomb,
parts
Saren
where
showed
it
up.
doesn't reflect
We
what
fought.
happened, and you'll notice that
Told
it
them to make time for
cut
the
out
team.
the whole Pharaoh
him.
section, which
I realized the truth.
you have an interaction
wasn't
later
Saren
on
who
in
was
this game that
indoctrinating
depends
everyone.
on some of
It
the
was
decisions where some of the
Reaper.
decisions you made on Pharaohs are
Saren was
referenced,
deeper
and
than
I
all of them.
understand that
He tried to
this
convince
is
me he was
already
still in
kind of
control.
long
Said he
and
found a way
such,
to reduce
and
the
there are
Reaper's
only so
influence,
many
but he was
choices
kidding
they could
himself.
show, but
Or believing
still,
the lies Sovereign was telling me.
but still, I have to wonder
Before I could convince him to stop,
why
he ran,
they don't give you
giving me just
control of
seconds to
that.
extract my squad mates.
At least they show it
Tried.
accurately with Caden being the
But I
one
wasn't
guarding the
fast enough.
bomb.
I could only save one of them. Caden was a good man. And a great
But
soldier.
a pretty boring
But I had to choose.
NPC.
And I chose Ash. That was the last time Saren would slip away from me. I knew then, the next time we met, one of us would die. With my team mostly
I
intact.
kind of was
we
hoping it was
chased
him.
Saren and his army
Maybe
to
him.
Ilos, a long-lost planet that had once belonged to the Protheans.
Good night. That
As we
keyboard
prepared for
looks
what we
hard to
knew would be a
use.
desperate
Just
fight,
look at it.
I
Can you
spoke to
imagine
my crew.
holding your hands in such
We
a
were
way? And
just one
what do
ship
those buttons in the middle do?
against
Those
Saren's
ones that
growing
look
army.
like they're from a
I
piano
assured
or
them all that
accordion
despite
or
the
something.
odds, we could defeat him. I'd never tell anyone, but I had my doubts. Leaving Caden behind had hardened my resolve, but revealed a soft spot in my defenses. How many more friends and allies would I be willing to sacrifice in order to stop Saren? We arrived on Hylos close behind
sad
Saren.
to say, but
Once on the
that's
planet,
pretty
we
much your
discovered a Prothean
job
databank
as a
that helped
military
put the final
commander.
pieces of my vision
If
together.
ya,
The Reapers had come 50,000 years ago,
I've
and every 50,000 years before that.
if you
Each time purging the
can't
galaxy
go,
of life,
if you can't
the Protheans
go,
had fought and died.
go.
Every species before them. But a few survived long enough to leave a parting gift.
v-
The Protheans had discovered
A,
that the Citadel was the key to controlling the mass relays. By
a
sabotaging the
complete
Citadel, they
box
found
set
a way
of
to
Twin
close the relays
Peaks
to dark
with
space,
a documentary
slowing the Reapers'
explaining
return,
just what the heck was
giving
going
us
on.
the time we needed to find a solution to
Quite a
stop the
gift.
Reapers once and for all. Saren knew this. He was leading his army to take control of the Citadel and re-establish the relays to dark space, bringing the waiting Reapers here to destroy us all.
Wouldn't that? I love the
We
fact
followed
that
him
in
to
the
the
artwork
Citadel.
here it contradicts itself
It was
because you can
intact,
only have 2 other
heavily
people on your
damaged.
team, but it shows Tally
It
and
caught the
Garrus
Council
here,
fleets
but
by
then it
surprise
shows
and they were
Liara
only now
down
regrouping.
he
And with
down
Sovereign as his flagship,
down here. It's
there was
like
little hope the fleets could counterattack
again
with enough
it
strength to take back the
reinforces
Citadel.
my idea
But
that
Saren was done running.
like
I was
most
done chasing.
novelizations
As
of
the
like
Alliance and Citadel
movies
fleets
or
battled
comic book
Saren's army
adaptations
outside,
of
I
movies,
cornered the
whoever
Turian
was
bastard in the
doing it
Citadel tower
was
and
only
confronted him. He
given
died
like
believing that
cliff
the
notes
Reapers
or
would
an
save
early
him.
version of the script or something.
As I fought to regain control of the Citadel, the Council's flagship, the Destiny Ascension, fell under attack.
Yeah, and I'd be
Despite
interested to
Saren's
hear
death,
what people
Sovereign
thought
and
of it
Saren's army continued to
because
fight.
I'm the only person I
Council
know
was
that
aboard the
ever
Destiny Ascension.
saves
They
the
were requesting
Destiny
assistance. But I knew in
Ascension,
order to help them, I
but
would have to put our human alliance fleet in jeopardy.
to me it's one of those things of you don't
The Council
leave
had
no
to be
matter how
saved.
badly you disagree
represented
with
the
people
hearts
or
and minds of
think
the galactic
they
community.
screwed
Without
up
them,
or
the fleets would
they
be
should have
disordered.
trusted you better. You don't just leave them
Even
to
with the
you don't
Citadel
just
back in
leave
my
them to
control,
die. And the fact is
Saren
that
defeated the Normandy leading the combined galactic fleet.
still, even as a
The battle
numbers
against
game
Sovereign,
of people,
a single
later
Reaper,
on in this game, there's a
was
point where you
relentless.
address that, and
It
it
took the
turns out
combined
that
fleets of
there were
humanity
far
and the
more
other
people
races.
on the Destiny Ascension
in
than
the
were
end,
on the
Sovereign
any of the
fell.
ships you lost
The
saving
cost
it, and it didn't stop you from
immense.
stopping Sovereign. So even as a
While
numbers
humanity's efforts
game,
in the war earned us our first seat on
you
the Council.
still,
It was a hollow victory. The Reapers were still out there. I knew the fight was far from over.
But in
as
reality,
the one
being
who led
limited
the
to
fight against
slower
Saren,
than light
I was given new
slower than
responsibilities.
light
The
speed
choice of humanity's
travel,
first
it
council
would
was
probably
left for
take
me to
them
decide.
tens
On
of
the one hand,
thousands of
the
years
demon,
to get here
a
from
lifetime
outside of the
politician,
galaxy. So,
ruthless in ambition,
so I think
would easily navigate the political
we'd
landmines that
have
would soon be
plenty
put
of
in front
time.
them. The other choice, Captain Anderson, the career soldier.
The
Tough but
only
fair.
one who was nice to
A
me in the
friend.
game. Guess who
Someone I
everybody
could trust.
chooses to make the
Both
counselor?
great leaders in their own
Everyone. Has anybody ever true? Hey, I want to
Anderson
know.
didn't want the job, which was a sure sign he'd be perfect for it. No ambition to get in the way.
Then again, he had no
war
idea
was
what he
over.
was doing, so
Threat had passed.
so he
In
ended
time,
up
Council
having
would
to
build
filibuster
itself.
like
The
Mr.
Citadel
Smith
would be
goes to
repaired.
Washington when he
Even the pain of lost
got,
friends would fade. But none of that
when
mattered if
he,
the Reapers were still out
got
there.
duped
And if they were all as
into
powerful as Sovereign,
supporting
we
the
had to
bill.
find a way to stop them. I had to find a way.
Being
gathered
that
my
I'm the
crew,
hero and
took
all,
my ship,
I'm the only one you can
went in search
rely
of
on.
answers.
What, you think
Officially,
those
the council would
NPCs
only
are
say
going to
I
do
was assigned to
anything?
clean up
No, I have to do it
Rooting
all.
out any
Didn't
remnants
you
of
see all
Saren's
those
army.
missions? They
Just
kept
another
calling me
routine
in, even
mission.
though they had a whole fleet in the area. Well, see ya.